Hi guys, in today's review we'll be on these old tooled Suburban coaches, and these Suburban coaches are made by Gwr Farish back in the 60s and 70s. My reasoning for reviewing these and having a look at them is with manufacturers recently announcing they are going to do some Suburban coaches. I think Rapido and Dapple are doing Great Western ones, and I think Accurascale are doing BR ones, if I have that correct. I thought I would take a look at these to see if they're any good as a base model for being improved, and I got these from eBay and I paid £30 for all three of these. These are Great Western, but the LMS design, which makes them, I think, Era 2, Era 3. So let's get into the review and see if they are any good, shall we? Starting off at the front or the back of the coach, depending on your preference. On the brake and the first and third class coaches, they are exactly the same ends. So with like all of Gwr Farish's 00 stuff, it's a long nose coupler that's already attached to the bogies on the coaches. We then have plastic unsprung buffers with a few bits of details on them. There's no hook on the buffer beam. The shanks again are in black. As we move on up, yes, the front of it is black. We have, which I believe are 2 lamp irons. We also have some electrical equipment on there as well. Then on one side of it we have 4 steps, and that side will have a moulded on handrail in black. You could easily paint these to make them stick out a bit more, I guess. Then we have some more electrical piping as well. There's no rivets or anything like this on the backs. As we now move on to the livery and the body types, we are going to start off with this first and third class passenger coach. This is loosely based on a LMS Suburban coach from the history I looked at. So we do have the correct windows and doors. Some say first, some say third, I believe. We also have the crest in the centre, or the shirt button for the Great Western, which, yeah, is crisply applied. We do have some seats inside, and we also have some glazing. It's just a glazing bar, massive glazing bar inside. The seats are not coloured at all. They are in the cream colour of the Great Western. And the livery, again, is in the cream and the chocolate of the Great Western. We have door vents at the top. We also see some of the roof as well, which is in white. The handles and all that sort of stuff on here are moulded, and the coaches do have a number as well. The bogies themselves are highly detailed for a 60-year-old plus model. So we do have axles and springs. We also have, I think, a spacer between it as well. And then we have the plastic wheels that come with these Gwr Farish coaches. As for the detail underneath, again, it's moulded on. It looks to be electrical box with a few bits of bracing, but I think the electrical box is only 2D. As we now do a quick look at the brake, I believe it's a third brake, it could even be a first brake. So just concentrate on the brake area because most of it's the same as the other coach. So we do have a ducket. There's no glazing in it, it's just part of the moulding, and that is in a cream colour. We also have a guards area with a single door, a window, and then we have a double door and a window. Like I said, the handrails or the handles on the doors are moulded on. There is, on some of these coaches, there is a line or gold strip between the cream and the brown. If you look inside the guards area, you can see some seating. Again, it probably is generic and it's probably to keep the cost down. I'm sure there's ways to modify that if you wanted to, but personally, for me, it isn't really going to bother me. And the windows are glazed. We also have the printing of the word guard on the double doors with the window as well. The bogies and the underframe are exactly the same as the other coach. As we now move on to the roofs of the coaches, for the 2 different types of coaches I have of the Suburban coaches, the roofs are exactly the same, all the details in exactly the same part. So the roof itself is in a white or an off-white colour. We have 2 massive rain ducts either side, from one end to the other, and then we have some slightly moulded on bits, I'm guessing for vents or they were for lighting. Sadly, inside these, no actual lighting in these, seeing these are 60 years old. But that's basically it on top of the roof. Very basic, but great for the time. And finally, we move on to the underneath of these coaches. Much like the corridor coaches that Gwr Farish do in 00, they are much the same. So let's start with the bogies. Like I said before, we do have the long nose square coupler at the front of the bogies. We do have plastic with metal axles wheels, which can easily change for metal wheels, but these ones are free rollings. and they are pinpointed ones, if I have that correct. Again, as you can see, the bogie is just one moulding. As we move on down, like I said, we have 2D bracing / electrical box. As you see from this view, it is 2D. But inside that, it says made in Britain, and it says GRAFAR Limited. And you can see 1 or 2 moulding marks. The bits that go in underneath are for the seating. The coach you're looking at now is the brake one. It has seating in it, like I said. I'm not fussed about that at all. So the chassis looks like it is basically a 3-parter. So you have the chassis, you have the bogies, and then you have the insert inside the coach. But failing that as basic, there's no brakes or anything like that is on a modern day coach. So next up will be the usual coupling test on these rolling stock. So here goes. Remember, these are a long nose coupler, and we'll be using a Hornby 61XX or large prairie for this. Yeah, no issues there at all. Wonderful. Couplings are compatible and they look quite nice with this model. So yeah guys, that's the end of the running session. Before I give my opinion on these coaches, I'll tell you what was pulling the train, which was the Hornby Large Prairie or the 61XX class. It sort of goes with it, matches the livery of the coaches. Like I said, I paid £30 for these off eBay for all 3 of these. And like I said at the start, there's a few manufacturers doing some suburban coaches. You have Hornby with the, I think it's LMS and Linear stuff they do. You also have Dapple, who do the Great Western Top Light, which are from the retailers are £56 each. You also have Rapido, who are doing the B set from the Diagram E140. Again, that's £169 for 2. And then finally you come on to Accurascale, who are doing the BR Mark 1 Suburban, which I believe are £64.95 each, depending on your preference. These are the BR ones that cover most of the regions, which are all well and good. They're all highly detailed and probably got all modern features. Yeah, these are, let's say, generic, based on an LMS design GRAFAR or Graham Farish decided to do. For £30 for 3 coaches that run superbly, it looks the part. There's nothing wrong in these Graham Farish or second-hand coaching stock. Okay, it doesn't have metal wheels, but you can easily change them. It doesn't have separately applied handrails or hand grabs. But again, you could use these as a practice wagon, so you could practice your improvement adding more detail, changing the wheels, even weathering them, or even just making it into something totally different to what it is. For example, you could make one into a full brake completely. Yeah, and the brakes do have seats to the side, which isn't a big issue to me. Maybe a big issue to some people. But for the day, these were better than the Hornby ones, I believe, and they are superb runners. Very smooth, very quiet, lovely. My question is, are you going to notice that these are not Great Western when you see them on someone's layout or someone's YouTube channel or in a shop? Unless someone points it out, are you going to notice? Are you going to notice it's missing this and that compared to a Curoscale, Dapple, Rapido, even the Hornby LNER stuff? No, not personally. If I saw these at layout running on someone, running with a train in any of the 4 liveries that Graham Farish did, I would think they are correct. But I am just a noob, so I don't know. For me, it's a massive thumbs up, a great price, and to be honest with you, I think they are a bargain. The guy described them as excellent condition, and I will go along with that. So this Graham Farish rolling stock for me is a big thumbs up, a way to get a train for cheap, and they also do some good rolling stock as well. So hopefully I will see you in the next videos. Please take care and goodbye.